this video, we will take a look at truth tables, specifically as they apply to conjunctions and disjunctions. First of all, let's talk a little bit about notation. So, when we see the V, we're going to interpret that to mean or. And statements that have the V or the or statement are called disjunctions. Let's see if we can put it together with an example. Let's say that statement P is it is snowing. And statement Q is, I am wearing a hat. So if we look at statement PVQ, that would mean it is snowing or I am wearing a hat. Now you can see in the truth table that we are looking at all the possibilities. So let's look at the first one when P is true and Q is also true. So if it is true that it is snowing and it is true that I am wearing a hat, then what can we say about the truth of it is snowing or I am wearing a hat? Well, it is in fact snowing. So, or I'm also wearing a hat. So we know that PVQ, it is snowing or I am wearing a hat, has to also be true. Let's look at the second scenario then. It is snowing, but Q is false here. I am not wearing a hat. So if we look at the statement, it is snowing or I am wearing a hat, this has to be true because it is snowing. It either has to be snowing or I am wearing a hat. Since I'm not wearing a hat, but even though it's still snowing, I know this has to be true as well. Let's look at the third scenario. So this time P is false. It is not snowing. And Q is true. I am wearing a hat. So the statement PVQ, or it is snowing or I am wearing a hat, is still true because I'm wearing a hat. Even though it's not snowing, I just need it to be true for one of them. Either it's snowing or I am wearing a hat. So I know this statement is true also. Let's look at the final scenario. If P is false, it is not snowing, and Q is false, I am not wearing a hat, then the statement it is snowing or I am wearing a hat is not true because I'm not snowing and I'm not wearing a hat. So this statement has to be false. This is how we look at a disjunction. We have to look at all the different combinations of P being true, Q being true, and then determining if our P or Q is true. Let's switch gears and look at a conjunction. For this one, we'll use the upside down V to mean and. Let's look at a same example. P is still, it is snowing. Q is, I am wearing a hat. So P and Q is, it is snowing and I am wearing a hat. So in order for this statement to be true, it has to be snowing and I have to be wearing a hat. It can't be snowing and I'm not wearing a hat. They both have to be true. So let's take a look at our truth table. I've got all of my combinations for P being true and Q being true. Let's look at the first scenario. P is true. It is snowing. Q is true. I am wearing a hat. So it is snowing and I'm wearing a hat. That gets to be true because it's snowing and I'm wearing a hat. Let's look at the second scenario. P is true. It is snowing. But Q is not true. I am not wearing a hat. So when we look at P and Q, it is snowing and I am wearing a hat. That cannot be true because I'm not wearing a hat. That part of the statement is false. Let's look at the third one. If P is false, it is not snowing, and Q is true, I am wearing a hat, then P and Q cannot be true because in order for P and Q to be true, it has to be snowing and I have to be wearing a hat. Since it's not snowing, this one cannot be true. All right, one more scenario to go. In this one, we'll look at P being false. It is not snowing. And Q is also false. I am not wearing a hat. So the P and Q statement, it is snowing and I am wearing a hat, that has to be false because it is not snowing and I am not wearing a hat. I hope this helps with your truth tables.